Yeah, I will try to make the presentation crisp so that you don't fall asleep. So let's go for it. The topic I'm talking about today is getting to net zero, how to scale up quality carbon removal. This is what Carbonfuture is working on. The reason why we need to talk about carbon removal, I don't think that I need to explain it. What I though found very shocking coming here this morning by train from Frankfurt and taking a cab because public transport here is quite complicated. I was looking into the forests and I saw many, many dead trees after the drought which happened this summer. So I'm quite frightened by that. I live in Switzerland where there's more rain and the drought was probably not that bad. Big signal though that we need to act and we need to do something about that. So as policy is still sleeping, many companies like yours probably have published net zero targets. The question is now, is this real climate impact or is it just hot air? And this question I would like to also ask to you. You are the pioneers making your climate commitments. We can help you to achieve net zero. And I want to ask you in the audience, who, except IKEA and Bayer, has already defined a science-based target reduction path here in the room? 2, 3, okay. Not so many. So the ones which have not done this can go to the consultancy companies around here, like First Climate, I think Carbon Trust for Lions, to discuss with them. And who of the ones are already engaged with carbon removal? IKEA, I heard. Yeah, Bayer, very good. So, why do we need carbon removal? The issue is that, if you have science-based targets defined and you look into your future, we will have residual emissions, which are here in the middle. So we need to reduce, and the residual emissions we need to somehow compensate. But we need to compensate them not actually with other mitigation efforts. We need to compensate them with removal certificates or removal action, and this is actually even a requirement already today by science-based targets in their standards. They write this very direct. So I want to briefly touch upon this because if you talk about climate neutrality and climate action, often it's not really distinguished where the difference is between carbon removal and avoidance certificate. So if you have an emission at your company and you avoid it with a certificate from a renewable energy project, then still you have 1 ton of CO2 emitted elsewhere. This will not help us to get actually net zero. If we want to get to net zero, we need to really store the carbon somewhere and we need to remove the ton which we emitted to have the zero then in the end. So if you now define a pathway towards net zero as a company, you should actually define or go have an informed decision. So you should, what we recommend, reduce rather than offset. You should actually remove instead of avoid, of course. You should look for permanence of the removal. You should measure or be able to measure what you have removed. And you should actually be looking into the future, be a forward looker, to start already today. And you should really start to conquer today and not to claim something which is somehow not real. We at Carbonfuture, we are working to help you to get you there. What is the issue with removal? Removal is a promise into the future. If you take out carbon from the atmosphere and you store it somewhere, and you compare it with the CO2, with the garbage of our society, then you need to ensure that this carbon stored somewhere, be it in the ground, in a borehole, or in the ocean, needs to stay there. Because, like with the waste, you do not want to pay for something which comes back after 10 years again, or half of the waste is after 10 years back in front of your door. And this is maybe one of the reasons why carbon removal till date was lacking a lot of trustworthiness. So discussions about CO2 sequestration were already held at the UNFCCC level in 2007. So this was a big topic, but no one believed in that this is really possible. And what is necessary to make it trustworthy is that the carbon removal needs to be traceable, it needs to be transparent, it needs to be audited, durable. Deep digitization can help to scale, and it needs to have scientific roots. Our focus at Carbonfuture is permanent removal. So there are different technologies or measures which are removing carbon from the atmosphere, many based on nature, these are great solutions like afforestation, reforestation, like build up of soil organic carbon, but these measures are not permanent. And with permanent, I mean, kind of geological timescales. If you plant a tree and there's a forest fire, CO2 is in the atmosphere again. If you do soil organic carbon increase through agriculture, which is a great measure, and we need to do all that. But if you change back to the previous practice, then CO2 is in the atmosphere again. That's why Carbonfuture is focusing on technologies which are providing permanent removal. Such technologies are, for instance, production application of biochar, as we heard from Novo this morning, enhanced weathering, storage of CO2 in recycling concrete, or other technologies like direct air capture or deep ocean sequestration, which are more out in the future because they are not yet scalable. With biochar, we currently have our biggest vertical, but we also work on enhanced weathering and recycling concrete. Just want to mention why biochar. Biochar is today the sweet spot, as it is really scalable, so we can produce biochar at large scale, as circular carbon will hopefully do soon, and or is already doing. And it's besides the carbon removal aspect, if the biochar is mixed into soil or into construction material and stored in the ground, it also has various positive side effects. It will reduce emissions when mixed with manure. It will reduce emissions when also mixed into the soil. It will help the soil to actually store more water, so the water holding capacity is increased, and even it can lead to increased humus buildup. So this is for us a very important route, which we are currently also following. Where does Carbonfuture stand now? So we are actually in the middle between suppliers, producers of biochar or other removal technologies, and the companies with net zero targets. We understand ourselves as a provider of a tracking system of removals, because we want to facilitate that where the removal is, and we collaborate with a standard called Carbon Standards International, which supports us in digital issuance of our CO2 certificates. This is a third-party standard, and we have a marketplace where companies can go to then purchase the removal certificates. This is a snapshot of a graph of our tracking system and value chain. So we have on the left-hand side the removal producers, which, for instance, produce biochar, which then create the sink by mixing the biochar into soil. We are working with third-party auditors, and then we have issuance on the registry, brokerage, features on our platform where you can, as a supplier of a removal technology, either sell your certificate yourself, or we purchase it as Carbonfuture and sell it on. Both options are possible. This is now a look through on our platform. This looks quite technical and probably you cannot see anything. But what is the gist of this is that what we developed is a tracking system which allows tracking of packaging units of certain bulky goods, like the biochar, like the rock powder, if you look at enhanced weathering, and you can actually follow through the chain of custody of this good from the date of creation, with where certain parameters are stored on our database for each packaging unit, and you can follow until the end usage has been confirmed by an end user, by a farmer, for instance, who then also can confirm that he himself will not use the climate value. And based on this confirmation, we then can issue a certificate and sell this certificate. And this is everything tracked on our platform with QR codes and supposedly user-friendly. We're working on that. It's still quite complex, but we'll get more user-friendly in future. We work with Carbon Standards International, as said, so it's in our opinion of utmost importance to have different parties working on standards and the marketing of certificates. So if you do everything out of one hand, then of course the trustworthiness of the credits issued are not there. The reason why we work with a standard which is not so famous today, like Gold Standard or Vera, is a very simple reason. These existing standards, they are highly bureaucratic and very complex in the procedure of how carbon credits can be created. Also, they are not digitized at all, and we have now this fully digitized system with which we can, with third-party audits, issue our certificates. That's why we work with this party. We work also on ICROA accreditation with the standard together, so that we can show that we comply with the highest standards in the voluntary carbon market. Yeah, and our projects are hopefully more than carbon removal, so they also have co-benefits and create thus even more impact. We of course would support if you purchase our certificates with meaningful stories. So we have projects which are more on this industrial side in Europe, which are having industrial biochar production, for instance, but also we have some projects now recently in developing countries. There are many works ongoing to create standards for artisanal biochar production, which then also has, of course, community effects. People there really benefit from the carbon credit, which you would purchase as they receive this as a subsidy for their work in the biochar production. So there are different stories, and we definitely will help you selling this if you wish. This is our intended scaling path. So last year we have transacted and issued 6,000 tons of CO2. This is very little. But it's even more than the direct air capture guys did. This year we will issue around 30,000 tons of CO2, but we are actually going towards the megaton in 2024. This is our goal, and we are very confident that we will achieve that. Our clients so far, are quite namely, so some names may ring a bell, like Microsoft. South Pole is also purchasing through us. First Climate purchased some credits. Swiss Re is one of our big buyers. They are actually one of the forerunners in the removal topic. So we are very happy having renowned clients which also help the removal topic to grow. So this is our company. So of course, we are in the meantime more than 3. These are our founders. It's Hannes, Matthias, and Hans-Jörg, and we were founded in 2020. We're a startup company. We just closed an additional round of finance of 5.5 million, and we look to further growth. At the moment, we are 16 people, and we will be hopefully 20 by end of the year, and some 50 next year, to actually work on this really important topic and on the gigaton scale. Yeah, and with this, I want to encourage you to actually get moving, to start action, because the race towards net zero will not be won on the last mile. It will be won only if you start today. And I'm happy to answer your questions now in the roundtables. Yeah, so create real climate impact, buy trusted carbon removals, and let's move together towards the gigaton. I don't know what's now going on, whether we have a break. And for the roundtables, I may also motivate you, because in the last round it was very static. So people were sitting on one desk. So maybe you want to move from one desk to the other if you have different questions to different people. Thank you very much.